My name is Elisa Navarro. I arrived at the family gathering I had paid for at an Italian restaurant called Caruso's in North Chicago. But the place was completely empty. My mother, Gloria, laughed and said, "It was yesterday, Nate. I'll bring you some leftover lasagna." I didn't say a word, but the next morning the police spoke for me. I should have sensed something was off the moment I turned into the parking lot. No sign of Uncle Eldrick's old SUV, no loud music blaring from someone's speaker. Just suffocating silence. I checked the message again. Friday, 7 p.m. at Caruso's. Can't wait to see everyone. A message from Mom sent 2 weeks ago. That day was Friday, 7:02 p.m. I showed up right on time, like an idiot. I walked in. The cold outside gave way to jazz music and warm lights. The restaurant wasn't empty, but the private room I had booked was locked and dark. "Can I help you?" the hostess asked without looking up from her screen. The Navarro party, private room," I said. She checked the list. "Oh yes, that was last night." I frowned. "No, it's tonight. I reserved the room and paid the deposit." She finally looked up. "Ms., they were here. 17 guests. Even brought a piano-shaped cake. Your mother came with name tags." I let out a laugh. A cracked, bitter sound that died in my throat. "No, I'm not mistaken." She paused, her eyes softening. "Would you like to call someone?" I had already dialed. The phone rang twice before Mom picked up. "Hi, sweetheart," she said, light as air, like nothing had happened. "Everything okay?" I stared into the stillness in front of me. "Where is everyone?" A pause. Then a soft chuckle. The kind she gave when she knew she was wrong but wouldn't admit it. "Oh, it was yesterday. We thought you weren't coming. But don't worry, I saved you some." I froze. "What?" She repeated herself, voice flat like she was talking about the weather. "It was yesterday. We'll bring leftovers." I said nothing. Just hung up. No one called back. Not Mom, not Islam, my sister, no one. A message popped up. Islam Navarro. "Sis, you missed it. It was epic. I saved you a slice of cheesecake, though." My hands trembled. Cold or angry, I wasn't sure. I looked at the hostess. They came, ate, and left. She shrugged. "Seemed like a good time." "Of course. They're always happy when I'm not there." I walked out. Didn't call, didn't text, didn't say a word, but I didn't go home either. I sat in my car, engine off, staring at my own reflection in the windshield. I thought about the bill, the deposit, the 10 unanswered messages I sent Mom before that day. They all knew. They just didn't care. They made a choice, together, and tomorrow I'd make mine. You think being uninvited to the birthday party you paid for is the worst part? Number. That's just the sour icing on a 6-year-old moldy cake. It wasn't the first time they left me out. Not even close. Just the first time they didn't bother pretending. I was always the forgotten backdrop. Growing up, Islam was the star, just needed a gentle push. Me? I was the she's fine on her own kid. They used to say that. "Elisa doesn't need much. She'll be okay." When I landed my first real job in Seattle, I called to tell Mom. Her response? "Good. Now you can help your sister with rent." And so it began. 1 month turned into 6. Then the electric bill, the eye doctor, tuition for Islam's short-lived nutrition course. 3 weeks and done. Not a word of thanks. I kept paying. I believed family meant helping each other. But in my family, love flows one way. Whenever I brought it up, barely a hint, Mom shut me down. "Don't keep score. Islam's struggling. You're doing fine. Let it go." I wasn't keeping score. I was bleeding. They just refused to see it. I remember one autumn night. I just wired $800 to save Islam's cat. That afternoon, she posted a story. Fresh nails, designer purse, Some guy's hand pouring her red wine. I showed Mom the story. She scoffed. You are always so sensitive about money. Sensitive? I paid for the roof repair last winter because Dad forgot. I covered Islam's credit card minimums for 5 months after she was laid off, while my own hours were being cut. That Christmas, I emptied my account for gifts. And me? I got a secondhand sweater, with Dad's name still on the tag. But nothing hurt like the night I overheard what they really thought of me. 6 months ago, I came home for the weekend. Just paid off $1,500 of Islam's credit card debt. I went downstairs for water, heard voices in the living room. Islam. She's obsessed with being the victim. It's exhausting. Mom. She thinks she's a saint just because she pays. Whatever. Dad laughed. Let him pay. No husband, no life might as well be useful. I stood frozen behind the wall. My heart slowed down, but every beat stung like it was being crushed. Islam added, if she vanished tomorrow, I wouldn't even notice. I didn't walk in. I went upstairs, laid in bed, and stared at the ceiling. The next morning, Mom made waffles like nothing had happened. After that, I stopped sending money for about 2 weeks. Then Islam texted, Islam, I need help with rent. I swear I'll pay you back. I didn't reply. 2 days later, Mom called. Islam is in a bad spot. You know she's sensitive. Why are you being so cold? I said, I can't keep doing this. She replied, if this is your way of punishing us for raising you, maybe we shouldn't have bothered. That line broke me, more than I dared admit. I still sent the money that day. And now, after everything, they threw a family gathering without me. I had paid for the dinner. I had confirmed the date. But when I called to ask, Mom simply said, it was yesterday. We'll bring you some leftovers. Leftovers, like for some outsider. Not family, not blood, just a walking wallet. I sat in my car, outside Ocean View Bistro, for a long time that night. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there in thick silence, thinking about every time I'd been the good one and the cost. Tomorrow, I won't be the good one anymore. Tomorrow, they'll feel what it's like when I stop playing my part. And I know exactly where I'll begin. I didn't sleep that night. Not out of sadness. Not really angry either. Honestly, I was doing math. Dinner at Ocean View cost me $1,740 after tax and tip for 16 people. I paid for Islam's vegan entree and Mom's sugar-free dessert. They didn't forget me. They knew. And they still did it. The next morning, I sent a message to the family group chat. Me, 7 p.m. tonight at Mom's. I have something for everyone. No one asked what it was. Of course not. They never do when it's about me. At 6:58, I parked outside. Inside, they were already gathered. Islam glued to her phone. Mom fixing throw pillows. She looked up and smiled. Hi, sweetie. I wasn't sure if you were still mad. I didn't respond. Islam looked up with fake pity. We didn't mean to hurt you, she said. Thursday just worked better for everyone. We have our own lives too, you know. I placed a large envelope on the coffee table. What's that? Mom asked. I sat down, calm. It's the invoice. Dad chuckled. Invoice for what? That night, I replied. The night you all enjoyed dinner. Without me. Islam burst out laughing. You've got to be kidding. I'm not. Mom squinted. You seriously want us to pay you back? No, I leaned forward. I'm giving you a chance. Because from now on, anything you want from me comes with a bill. The room fell into silence. Not the kind born of shock, but of fear. Fear of being exposed. Islam stared at me. What do you mean by everything comes with a bill? Family? You mean the family that didn't even mention me at the 50th anniversary dinner? I've been throwing money into that black hole you all call family for nearly half a decade, financially, emotionally. Islam shrugged, her tone laced with venom. Well, no one dragged you into it. That was the moment I snapped. I shot my feet like I'd been shocked. You want to talk about things I didn't have to do? Fine. I pointed straight at Islam. No one made me pay rent for your Brooklyn apartment for 18 months. Or cover your overdraft fees because you blew cash on designer shoes. Or replace your engine when you drove like a lunatic to see your ex. I turned to Mom, who was clenching her silk scarf like she wanted to strangle someone. No one made me pay your back property taxes for 3 years, or foot the bill for your extravagant birthday cruise that you blamed on Dad forgetting, or handle the groceries every time your knees suddenly gave out. Dad flushed and stood. Watch your damn mouth, Callan. I'm just getting started. I pulled a thick document from my coat. You don't want to hear it? I live it every damn day. I slapped the folder on the table like I was laying down my hand in a poker game. What the hell is this now? My father barked. I smiled, but it didn't reach my eyes. Proof, bank transfers, Zelle, PayPal, every damn receipt. Islam scoffed. God, you've really lost it. Number, I've never been more clear. My voice was ice. And this morning, I filed a fraud report. I tapped the file. It's all in the system now. What are you talking about? Mom asked, her voice trembling. I met her eyes. Last week, I discovered a new credit card opened in my name. Used to buy a new iPhone and a luxury spa package, just like the ones Islam bragged about on Instagram. Islam went silent, lips parted but speechless. I called the company. They're investigating it as identity theft, and the shipping address was Mom's house. She jumped up. You're making this up. No, I'm not, I said slowly. And if you think I won't press charges, you wouldn't dare, Mom growled. Try me. The room erupted. Islam screamed, You're sick. Dad roared, You want to put your sister in jail? You want to make me look like a fool? What other choice do I have? Mom sobbed. You're tearing this family apart. No, I said, walking toward the door. I'm saving myself from it. And then, the second twist. Just as I turned to leave, a voice rang out, for the first time all evening. Jonas, my cousin, the quiet one who never spoke at gatherings, said softly, I'd like to pay my share for dinner. I think that's fair. Every eye in the conference room turned to me. No one said anything. Then Jordan said, his voice low, I should have said something a long time ago, but they were planning to get you out of the way. I heard them joking about it after the meeting on Monday. They said you were too sensitive to handle this. I'm sorry, Elisa. I looked at him, and for the first time that evening, I smiled, not out of forgiveness, but because I had waited so long to hear it. Thank you. Then I turned and walked away. They thought they could manipulate me forever, but they forgot one thing. Even the quiet ones will speak, and when we do, it's not a whisper. We called the police. The next morning, at 8:17, my phone rang. Anonymous. I picked up. Hello, is this Elisa Navarro? Yes. This is Officer Martinez with the Seattle Police Department. We're handling a report of fraud involving a credit card opened in your name. The billing address is linked to your family's residence. We'll be there today to make statements. I was silent for a few seconds, then asked, Do I need to be there? No, sir. You did your part. Now it's our turn. I hung up, leaned back in my chair, and closed my eyes. This time, they would have to face a truth they couldn't deny. I didn't need to scream. The law would do it for me. I used to believe that silence was peace. But then I learned, silence only hides the surface. Beneath it lies ashes. People say that if you pull the capstone out of a dome, the whole structure will collapse. But I am not the capstone. I am the foundation. And when the foundation is withdrawn, the house built of lies collapses. The police visit was not a gentle one. According to my mother's 3-minute voicemail, angry, sobbing, they arrived at 7:40 a.m. when she was still in her pale pink robe and my father was making coffee. The two officers, a woman with short hair and a man with an icy expression, said tersely, "We're investigating an identity theft. A credit card in the name of Elisa Navarro was used for over $4,000 in transactions linked to this address. Who has access?" My mother stammered. "There must be some misunderstanding. My family would never do that." Classic. They asked to see each person in the house. Islam, my sister, tried to make an excuse that she had to go to work. The officer asked her to stay. In less than 5 minutes, Islam collapsed. "It's not really a scam. She's always helping. I think she'll understand." My mother chimed in. "She just panicked." She didn't mean it. She was tired. Too late. They recorded Islam's statement, then asked to check her phone. And then, things got worse. They found a text message Islam had sent to her best friend. "Used my sister's card to book a spa. Never mind, she doesn't know anything. She's always been a wimp." Not just fraud, it was intentional. And there was evidence. That same afternoon, I got a call from Detective Hannah, who was in charge of the case. "We have enough to prosecute. Do you want to go formal?" I told him to give me a day. That night, my phone blew up. 34 missed calls, 57 text messages. "Elisa, please, it's Mom. Come home. We need to talk. Islam didn't mean it." "She's still your sister, Elisa. Are you going to ruin her life over something so trivial?" "Elisa, please. You're pushing our family over the edge." Funny. No one says that when they push me over the edge. I waited until the next morning. Then I called the policeman again. "I want to suspend the prosecution." He agreed but made it clear. "It's not gone. It's just been postponed." Then Mom took action. She called me, her voice as soft as silk, a sharp edge hiding. "If you really want things to go smoothly, come home. Let's talk face to face." Against my instincts, I agreed. As soon as I walked in, I regretted it. Islam curled up in the chair, wrapped in a blanket as if she were the victim. Mom looked down, her eyes red but without tears. Dad didn't bother to get up. "We just want to make it right," Mom said. "We?" I raised an eyebrow. "This is tearing the family apart. You can stop it." "No," I said. "Islam broke it up. Not me." Islam's voice cracked. "I didn't think you'd actually call the FBI. Who does that to their own family?" "Someone who's been pushed to the edge," I replied. My mother grabbed my hand. "Please stop this. We'll pay it back. Don't turn this into a disaster." "Strange," I said. "You didn't say that before the agents showed up." She withdrew her hand like I'd slapped her. My father finally spoke. "You think you're some kind of saint? Don't forget where you came from." I looked him dead in the eyes. "No, but at least I got out." And this time, I walked away, without looking back. A week later, Detective Hannah called. "We received a payment, anonymous, but from a joint account under your parents' names. Do you still want to proceed?" I thought for a long time, then said, "No," but added, "Not this time. But if she touches anything with my name on it again, I want her prosecuted." She agreed. I hung up. That was it. No more money, no more wait, no more being invisible until someone needed a favor. A new start. I moved to Asheville, North Carolina 2 weeks later. A quiet little town. Kind landlord. Rent was half what I used to pay. That first weekend, I built IKEA furniture and listened to music from my college days. Songs I used to play back when I still believed families could change. I went shopping, bought whatever I liked. I sat on my own sofa with coffee and a book. No one knocking to borrow money or cry over their mistakes. For the first time in a decade, I belonged only to myself. But then, the unexpected. 3 weeks in, I got a letter, handwritten, no return address. Inside was a folded note and a check. The note read, "I don't expect forgiveness, but thank you for doing what I never had the courage to. Jonas." The check was for half the amount Jonas had owed me for years. I smiled. He didn't owe me anything, but at least he got it. The others? I never heard from them again. No birthdays, no holidays, not even a message when my dad landed in the hospital later that year. I only found out from a distant cousin's Facebook status. And you know what? That's fine. They finally knew what it felt like to live without me. And I learned to live without them. People say, blood is thicker than water. But they forget the full saying. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. In other words, chosen loyalty runs deeper than inherited bonds. I learned that lesson the hard way. The last time I saw my family's faces was the day I walked out of that house, clutching a folder with a fire in my chest. Since then, not a word. And the silence, once a sentence, now feels like salvation. A few weeks ago, I ran into someone from the past, a girl from senior year of high school. She recognized me at the checkout counter in a small hardware store on the outskirts of Phoenix. Wait, aren't you Islam's sister? I stopped, looked at her, then smiled. Not anymore. That was it. No dodging, no hesitation, because I'm no longer Islam's brother. I'm no longer the pride and joy my mother used to parade around. No longer the mobile bank. No longer the fixer for the messes they made and walked away from. Now I'm just me. And for the first time in 33 years, that's enough. They used to believe I'd fall apart without them, that I'd crawl back, that I needed their version of family, sweet-talking manipulation, control disguised as care. They were wrong. I don't need Friday dinners where I have to sit through their sarcasm-laced jokes. I don't need the check-in texts that only lead to a favor. I don't need to explain why I cut ties, why I sold the house and moved states, why last Christmas was just another day. Let them speculate. Let them fume. Let them craft stories for the relatives. Because deep down they know. They pushed me away. And this time, I'm not turning back. You know what the best part is? They lost their grip the moment I stopped begging for love and started demanding respect, because people like that always wield family like a blade. But when you raise the shield of boundaries, they call you cold, ungrateful, cruel. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you no longer obey. Islam didn't lose her job, didn't get arrested, but she lost the mask. The whole family knows now. She lied to me, drained me, gossiped about me behind my back. And now no one believes her anymore. Jonas moved out. Aunt Marianne doesn't let her dog sit anymore. And Uncle Eldrick? He called just to tell me, something I never expected. At every gathering, Islam's name is now the silence in the room. You don't need to come back, he said. This time, everyone sees it. But I told him the same thing I'll tell you. It's not about who sees, it's about who survived. And I survived. So no, I'm not pretending anymore. I won't send cards, won't answer guilt-laced calls, won't sit through fake dinners just to get stabbed mid-smile. I'm not going to show up for fake hugs or sit through tense family dinners just so my mom can throw in a passive-aggressive comment about how hard it is to keep families together these days. I'm no longer theirs, and that is the best thing that ever happened to me. Now I wake up in peace. I work, and I keep every cent I earn. I eat what I like. I don't apologize for saying no. I don't flinch when my phone buzzes. I don't hold my breath around people who claim to love me. I'm free, not because they let me go, but because I stopped waiting for their permission. Let them keep the empty words. Let them pass my picture around like I'm the one who's gone. Let them gossip, distort, rage, call me a traitor. I'll still sleep like a baby. Because the truth is simple. When they shut that door, I didn't lose a family. They lost me. And that is the first bill they'll never be able to pay.